The purpose of life is what when life is so short. Buddhist philosophy. Have you ever found yourself staring out the window, folding laundry, or sitting in silence, when suddenly a deep and profound question whispers in the back of your mind, what is the point of all this? What is the purpose of my life? It's not the kind of question that demands an immediate answer, no dramatic epiphany, no instant resolution. It quietly slips into your thoughts like a shadow passing through your mind. It's a question that catches you off guard without warning in the midst of an otherwise ordinary day. Or perhaps it surfaces after a life-changing event, a moment of triumph, or the painful loss of something dear. For many of us, as we grow older, this question lingers longer and longer. We begin to reflect on the meaning of life, not just in fleeting moments, but in the very fabric of our existence. We might look for answers in success, love, or material wealth, yet the question remains, what is the deeper meaning behind it all? In today's video, we're going to dive into a powerful Buddhist perspective that might just change the way you view this age-old question. This is no ordinary answer. It's a profound shift in understanding that might open new doors in your mind. We're not here to offer a simple, feel-good solution, but to explore the wisdom that has been passed down through generations. If you've ever felt lost in life's noise, chasing fleeting moments of happiness and success only to find them slipping through your fingers, then this video is for you. Stay with us, because what we'll uncover here is far more than just another philosophical musing. We'll explore the real, lasting truth about life's purpose and why perhaps it's not about finding the answer at all. Now, before we continue, take a moment to let this thought settle in. Your life in all its imperfection is a rare gift. In Buddhism, there's a powerful teaching that compares human life to a rare event, the chance of a blind turtle deep under the ocean, emerging once every 100 years and finding its way through a tiny wooden ring floating on the surface. It's almost inconceivable, yet that is the rarity of human life. And it's not because life is flawless, but because, as human beings, we have the rare ability to ask the deep questions that awaken something within us. This is just the beginning. As you watch, prepare to uncover profound insights into the nature of existence and why the mere act of questioning the meaning of life is itself a sign of spiritual awakening. Don't miss a moment of this journey, because the answers might surprise you. Chapter 1: The Endless Cycle, Chasing and Avoiding. As we age, the cycle of life often becomes clearer. We find ourselves running in circles, chasing after things we believe will make us happy, whether that's success, recognition, love, or material wealth, while simultaneously avoiding the discomfort, fear, and sorrow that seem to lurk around every corner. This back and forth, the chase and the flight, is so ingrained in our daily lives that it often feels like we're bound to it, as if there's no other way to be. But Buddhism offers us a way out of this endless cycle, helping us see that the real source of suffering is not the pain itself, but our reaction to it, the way we continuously try to escape from it or chase after something that will never satisfy us for long. The cycle begins with our attachments. We attach ourselves to things that we believe will bring us happiness. We chase after success, possessions, status, or relationships, thinking that these will fill the emptiness we feel inside. Yet when we attain these things, the joy we feel is often short-lived. We get the promotion, but the pride fades. We buy the car or the house, but the excitement wanes. We find love, but the feeling eventually changes. This is what the Buddha referred to as dukkha, the unsatisfactory nature of life. It's not just about physical pain or emotional loss, but the ongoing dissatisfaction that arises from our attachments and our relentless attempts to grasp onto things that are, by their very nature, impermanent. The Buddha taught us that both happiness and sorrow are fleeting. They arise, stay for a moment, and then pass. The problem is not that we experience them, but that we mistake them for something permanent. When we cling to happiness, we end up suffocating it. When we resist sorrow, we give it more power. The more we attach ourselves to joy, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment when it fades. Similarly, the more we try to push away pain, the more it tends to resurface, often stronger than before. The endless cycle is not just about chasing happiness and running from pain, it's also about the fear of losing what we have. We fear losing the things or people we love, and so we hold on even tighter, trying to control every aspect of our lives. But as much as we try to control, we can never prevent the inevitable passage of time, the changes that life brings. And in trying to control everything, we create unnecessary suffering. Think of the story of the blind turtle at the bottom of the ocean. The Buddha used this parable to illustrate how rare it is to be born human, how rare it is to have the ability to ask these deep questions about life's purpose. Imagine a turtle swimming in the vast ocean, coming up for air once every 100 years. There's a wooden ring floating on the surface. The chance that the turtle will surface at the exact moment the ring is there and stick its head through that ring is about as rare as being born human. This life is rare and it's precious, not because of its perfection, but because we have the capacity to ask these difficult questions, to see beyond the surface of our everyday experiences. We often fail to realize how rare our lives are, how much potential we have in each moment to create peace and wisdom. Instead, we get caught up in chasing external things, hoping they'll provide us with lasting happiness, only to realize that they never truly will. The Buddha's teachings urge us to understand that all things are temporary. The happiness we experience from external accomplishments is impermanent, and the sorrow we feel when we face loss or disappointment is equally fleeting. The key, then, is not to attach to either of these, but to learn to live with them as they come and go. The way to break free from this cycle is to embrace the present moment with mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just about being aware of what's happening around us. It's about being aware of our own thoughts and emotions without judgment. It's about seeing life as it is, without the filter of desire or aversion. When we become mindful, we begin to recognize how often we are driven by unconscious desires or fears, and we can begin to make more conscious choices about how we react to life's challenges. Instead of trying to escape discomfort or grasp onto fleeting moments of happiness, we can learn to be present with whatever arises, knowing that it will pass in its own time. In the Buddhist tradition, the middle path is a central teaching. It's the path of balance, the way of living between extremes. The extremes are clear. On one side, we have the endless chasing of pleasure and satisfaction, and on the other, we have the constant avoidance of pain and discomfort. The middle path invites us to walk a balanced road, where we experience life fully but without clinging to or resisting what comes our way. It's a way of engaging with life, of living in the world, but not being consumed by it. One of the most powerful aspects of the middle path is the understanding that both pleasure and pain are part of the same cycle. We cannot have one without the other. Just as day follows night, joy follows sorrow, and sorrow follows joy. Life is a constant flow of change. What the Buddha teaches is not that we should avoid the flow, but that we should learn to flow with it. We should not be dragged along by our desires or our fears, but instead walk with mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. Consider the story of the Buddha's own life. He was born into a life of luxury, shielded from the harsh realities of the world. But one day, when he ventured outside the palace, he encountered the reality of human suffering. Sickness, old age, and death. This encounter shook him to the core. He realized that no matter how much wealth, power, or pleasure one may have, all are subject to the impermanence of life. This realization led him to seek a path to transcend the cycle of birth, suffering, and death. For the Buddha, the key to transcending this cycle wasn't in accumulating more wealth or pleasure, or in avoiding discomfort, but in seeing things clearly. He understood that everything is in a constant state of change, and that clinging to anything, whether it's happiness or sorrow, only brings suffering. This is why mindfulness, or the cultivation of a deep awareness of the present moment, is so important. When we are fully present, we stop seeking what is outside of us for fulfillment. We stop trying to fix or control life, and instead, we begin to see life as it is. Another essential lesson from the Buddha's teachings is the importance of compassion, both for ourselves and for others. As we learn to accept the impermanence of life, we also learn to accept ourselves with all our flaws and imperfections. We recognize that we, too, are part of this ever-changing world. We learn to stop judging ourselves for our mistakes or our failures, and instead, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. This compassion extends to others as well. As we begin to understand our own suffering, we naturally develop a deeper compassion for the suffering of others. We realize that we are not alone in this struggle. Everyone is caught in the same cycle of chasing and avoiding. It is through this understanding and compassion that we can begin to free ourselves from the cycle of dukkha. By recognizing the impermanence of all things, by cultivating mindfulness, and by developing compassion, we can learn to live with greater peace and wisdom. We stop chasing after fleeting moments of happiness and running away from pain. Instead, we begin to live with a sense of acceptance and equanimity, knowing that both joy and sorrow are part of the human experience. The path of Buddhism is not about rejecting life or escaping from suffering, but about embracing life fully, with mindfulness and compassion. It is about walking the middle path, living in balance, and seeing life as it truly is, impermanent, ever-changing, and filled with both beauty and pain. Through this understanding, we can begin to break free from the cycle of chasing and avoiding, and instead live with a deep sense of peace and wisdom, knowing that in each moment we are exactly where we need to be. Chapter 2: The Ripple of Our Actions, the Continuity of Kamma. As we approach the later stages of life, many of us begin to contemplate what comes next. We may find ourselves wishing for an end to the pain, confusion, and suffering that have accompanied us throughout our years. There's a quiet longing, almost a hope, that when death arrives, all of the struggles we've faced in this world will cease. But Buddhism teaches us that death is not an escape. It's merely a transition, a turning of the page in the ongoing story of our existence. The actions we have taken, our words, our thoughts, our deeds, do not simply disappear when the body dies. Instead, they leave ripples in the vast ocean of life that continue to affect the future in ways we cannot always see. This is the essence of Kamma, the law of cause and effect. Every action, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, creates a ripple in the world around us. These ripples don't just impact the present, they shape the very fabric of our future. The way we live today, the choices we make now, are not isolated incidents. They are seeds that we plant, each one sprouting its own fruit in the days and years to come. Consider how a single kind word can soften someone's heart, how a smile can lift someone from their despair. We might not always notice the immediate results of our actions, but they are always there, rippling outward, affecting those we interact with and the world we inhabit. When we act out of compassion, our hearts expand. When we act out of anger or hatred, our hearts grow hard. Every thought, every word, every gesture, no matter how small, contributes to the flow of energy around us. And this isn't just a teaching from the Buddha, it's a universal truth. We all know the impact of our actions. Think back to a time when someone's kindness lifted your spirit, or when a harsh word left a wound in your heart. Those moments become part of the story of our lives, shaping us, sometimes in ways we don't even fully understand. The Buddha spoke often about Kamma and how it governs our lives, not as a system of punishment or reward, but as a natural law of causality. Just as a stone creates ripples when it's tossed into a pond, our actions create ripples that extend far beyond us. When we speak with kindness, we sow peace. When we speak with cruelty, we sow discord. These ripples of cause and effect influence not only this life, but future lives as well. Our actions form the patterns of our lives, and in each moment, we have the power to choose what kind of ripples we want to send out into the world. One of the most powerful teachings of the Buddha on karma is that the consequences of our actions are not always immediate. The results of our actions may take time to manifest, and they may appear in forms we never expected. The Buddha used the analogy of a seed to describe karma. A seed planted in the soil doesn't bear fruit right away. It takes time for it to grow, to sprout, to flower, and eventually to bear fruit. Similarly, our actions are seeds we plant in the world, and we may not always see the fruit of our efforts immediately. But in time, the seeds we sow will bear fruit. This is why the Buddha urged us to be mindful of our actions, for we are continually planting the seeds that will shape our future. There's a story of a man named Angulimala, once a notorious bandit, who is said to have killed over 100 people. He wore their fingers as a necklace, and his reputation struck terror in the hearts of many. Yet, when Angulimala encountered the Buddha, he was not met with condemnation or fear. The Buddha saw him for what he could become, not just for who he was in that moment. The Buddha spoke to Angulimala, telling him that it was not too late to change, that his past actions did not define his future. In that instant, Angulimala made a decision that would alter the course of his life. He chose to abandon his violent ways, and in doing so, he began to create new ripples of peace and transformation. Through his sincere repentance, he became a follower of the Buddha and went on to inspire countless others. His story illustrates that no matter how far down the wrong path we may have gone, we can always create new ripples with our actions, ripples that flow toward healing and growth. This transformation of Angulimala shows us that no matter what we've done, we have the power to change the course of our lives. Our past actions shape us, but they do not define us forever. Just as we have the ability to make harmful choices, we also have the power to make choices that heal and uplift. In every moment, we are planting seeds of karma, and with each choice, we can create ripples that lead us toward greater peace, wisdom, and compassion. In Buddhism, there is no final, irreversible judgment. There is only the continuity of cause and effect. When we harm others, we are creating ripples of suffering, but when we choose kindness, we create ripples of joy and peace. This is why the Buddha emphasized the importance of right action, right speech, and right thought, because the ripples we create with these right actions can spread far beyond us, creating a world that reflects the peace we wish to see. This law of karma extends beyond just our personal lives. It is the law of the universe itself. Everything is connected, and every action we take, no matter how small, contributes to the collective energy of the world. When we act out of selfishness, greed, or fear, we contribute to the suffering in the world. But when we act out of compassion, generosity, and love, we contribute to the healing and transformation of the world around us. The ripples we create extend far beyond our immediate circle, touching the lives of those we may never meet. Think of the story of Kisa Gautami, who suffered the heartbreaking loss of her child. In her grief, she sought out the Buddha, asking him to bring her child back to life. The Buddha gave her a task. He told her to find a mustard seed from a household that had never experienced death. Kisa Gautami went from house to house, only to discover that every home had lost someone dear. This experience opened her eyes to the universal nature of suffering. She understood that she was not alone in her grief and that suffering is a part of the human experience. Through her loss, she gained wisdom, and her grief transformed into a teaching for others. Kisa Gautami's story illustrates how our actions, our responses to suffering, create ripples that affect others. When we face our pain with mindfulness and understanding, we not only heal ourselves, but we also create ripples of healing for those around us. Just as the Buddha's teachings helped Kisa Gautami transform her grief, so too can our actions and our understanding of karma help us navigate life's challenges with greater compassion and wisdom. Death, then, is not an end, but a continuation of the ripples we create through our actions. The actions we take today shape our future, and they shape the world we leave behind. When we live with awareness of the law of karma, we begin to understand that every moment is an opportunity to create ripples of peace, compassion, and kindness. Our actions are not fleeting. They are part of a larger, ongoing flow of energy that extends far beyond our lives. In the end, karma teaches us that we are not helpless in the face of life's challenges. We are not bound by our past. Every action we take, every choice we make, creates ripples that can transform our future and the future of the world. By living with mindfulness, by choosing to act with compassion and wisdom, we can create a legacy that transcends our physical existence. We can be a part of a larger web of peace, understanding, and healing that continues to ripple through the lives of others long after we are gone. Chapter 3: The Middle Path, Walking with Clarity and Balance. As we grow older, life often starts to reveal itself more clearly. We begin to see that peace doesn't come from trying to fix everything or from making sure that things unfold according to our desires. In our younger years, it's easy to think that the key to happiness lies in controlling life, in making things go our way and avoiding discomfort at all costs. But as time passes, we realize that this kind of control is an illusion. True peace doesn't come from clinging to what we want or avoiding what we fear. Peace arises when we can see life as it truly is, in all its beauty and imperfection. The key is learning to walk through it with balance and clarity, embracing both the joy and the sorrow that come our way. The Buddha's middle path offers us a profound guide for living with this balance. It's not a distant, abstract concept, but a practical approach to life that anyone, at any stage of life, can follow. Whether you're a parent juggling responsibilities, a teacher trying to guide others, or someone enjoying the quieter years of retirement, the middle path speaks to you. It teaches us not to cling to joy or try to push away pain, but to find a way to live fully in the middle, not driven by extremes, but rooted in awareness, compassion, and wisdom. The Buddha, before his enlightenment, experienced the extremes of both indulgence and asceticism. As a young prince, he was surrounded by luxury, wealth, and comfort, but even in the midst of this indulgence, he felt a deep dissatisfaction, a sense that something was missing. He then turned to extreme asceticism, denying himself even the basic comforts of life, hoping that by suffering, he would find enlightenment. Yet this path only led him to physical weakness and spiritual confusion. It wasn't until he discovered the middle path, the way between these two extremes, that he found true peace. The middle path invites us to live with clarity, not to run from life's challenges, but to engage with them thoughtfully. It's not about avoiding difficulty or seeking to make life conform to our desires, but about accepting life as it is, embracing both the light and the dark aspects of our experience. The Buddha's teachings on the middle path remind us that peace does not come from trying to control the uncontrollable. It comes from learning to live with the ebb and flow of life, to be present with both joy and sorrow, to experience each moment with mindfulness and equanimity. In practical terms, the middle path encourages us to avoid the extremes of attachment and aversion. We don't need to cling to pleasure, thinking that it will bring lasting happiness. We also don't need to push away pain, believing that it should never touch us. Instead, we learn to live with an open heart, accepting the impermanence of both happiness and suffering. When we cling to happiness, it slips away. When we resist suffering, it often grows stronger. But when we learn to be with both, not grasping, not resisting, we find a kind of peace that transcends the ups and downs of life. One of the most important aspects of the middle path is mindfulness. It's not just about being present in the moment, but about being aware without attachment, observing life without getting swept away by it. Mindfulness allows us to engage with the world as it is, without trying to change it or avoid parts of it. Whether we're experiencing joy or sorrow, mindfulness teaches us to be present with the experience, knowing that it is not permanent and that we do not need to cling to it. This allows us to live more fully, with less fear and more openness. Take, for example, the challenges of aging. As we grow older, we may face physical limitations or health issues that we didn't experience before. The middle path doesn't encourage us to avoid these realities, but to meet them with awareness and balance. Instead of denying the reality of aging or wishing that we could turn back time, the middle path invites us to accept the impermanence of the body and to find peace in the present moment. Through mindfulness, we can learn to live with these challenges without getting overwhelmed by them, finding joy in the simple act of living, no matter what our circumstances may be. The middle path is also relevant in our relationships with others. Often, we find ourselves swinging between two extremes in how we relate to the people around us, either clinging too tightly or distancing ourselves out of fear. In our relationships, the middle path teaches us to love without clinging, to give without expecting, to be present without controlling. When we live in this balanced way, we can build deeper, more meaningful connections. We begin to see others not as extensions of our own desires, but as individuals who deserve love and respect simply for being who they are. The Buddha's teachings on metta, or loving kindness, are a perfect complement to the middle path. Loving kindness encourages us to cultivate an attitude of goodwill toward others without attachment or expectation. It teaches us to be kind, not because we expect anything in return, but because kindness is the path to peace. When we embrace this kind of love, we are not weighed down by expectations or disappointment. We can love others freely and fully, without becoming attached to the outcome of our relationships. In our work and our daily tasks, the middle path also provides valuable guidance. We often find ourselves caught between extremes in how we approach our responsibilities. We may push ourselves too hard, driven by ambition or the desire for success, or we may avoid our responsibilities altogether out of fear or complacency. The middle path encourages us to find balance in our work, to engage with our tasks wholeheartedly, but without becoming attached to the outcome. It teaches us that success and failure are both part of the journey, and we don't need to identify ourselves solely with our achievements. Instead, we can approach work with mindfulness and purpose, doing our best without becoming consumed by the need to prove ourselves. In living the middle path, we learn to embody wisdom, compassion, and equanimity. Wisdom helps us to see things clearly, to understand the impermanent nature of all things. Compassion helps us to engage with the world and others in a way that promotes peace and understanding. Equanimity allows us to remain balanced in the face of life's challenges, not swayed by the highs and lows, but anchored in a deep sense of inner peace. The middle path is not an abstract ideal. It is a way of life that can be lived by anyone, no matter their circumstances. As we walk the middle path, we come to realize that peace does not come from trying to fix life or make it conform to our desires. Peace arises from accepting life as it is, in all its beauty and imperfection. The middle path is about finding balance, embracing both joy and sorrow, and living with an open heart and clear mind. It's a way of walking through life, not with the expectation that everything will be perfect, but with the understanding that everything is part of a greater journey, one that can be walked with wisdom, mindfulness, and compassion. When we live the middle path, we learn that life doesn't need to be fixed or controlled. It just needs to be lived with awareness and acceptance. This path invites us to be fully present with whatever comes our way, to engage with life thoughtfully, and to approach both the joys and challenges with balance. As we embrace this path, we find that peace doesn't come from avoiding life's difficulties, but from learning how to walk through them with clarity and balance, knowing that every step is part of a greater whole. Chapter 4, Presence, Living the Answer. As we move through life, especially as we grow older, there's a tendency to search for some final answer that will make everything clear. We look for meaning in our work, our relationships, and in our search for happiness. We may think that the point of life is to find a goal, a purpose, or a truth that will provide the definitive answer to everything. But Buddhism teaches us that this search for a single answer can often lead us astray. The true point of life, according to the Buddha, isn't found in some distant future or in an elusive goal. It's found in how we live each moment with presence. Presence isn't just a state of being, it's a way of living. It's about fully embracing each moment as it comes, the joy, the sorrow, the mundane, the profound. It's about engaging with life as it is, without trying to control it or fix it, but simply living in it. This kind of presence is rooted in mindfulness, a key practice in Buddhism, which involves being fully aware of the present moment without distraction or judgment. Mindfulness teaches us to be with life, not to escape it, not to wish it were different, but to experience it exactly as it is. In our daily lives, we often rush from one thing to the next, constantly looking ahead or thinking about the past. We can be physically present in a room, but mentally somewhere else. When we stop to reflect, we realize that we often miss the beauty and the lessons of the present moment because we are caught in our thoughts about what happened or what might happen. This is where the practice of presence comes in. It's about waking up to the moment we are living in, letting go of the distractions that keep us from fully experiencing the here and now. Whether it's the warmth of the sun on our face, the sound of a loved one's voice, or the simple act of drinking tea, presence is the key to connecting with life in its fullest form. True presence, however, doesn't require us to be constantly calm or serene. It's not about slowing down or forcing ourselves to be still. It's about remembering what truly matters, the life we have in this very moment. It's about being aware of the richness of the present experience, whether it brings happiness or sorrow. When we are fully present, we aren't trying to fix the moment or change it. We are simply embracing it, both the joys and the challenges, knowing that they are temporary and part of the greater flow of life. The Buddha spoke about the importance of mindfulness and living in the present because he understood that suffering arises when we become attached to things, when we cling to the past or anxiously anticipate the future. When we resist the present moment, we increase our suffering, but when we accept it just as it is, we find peace. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that we can avoid pain. But by being fully present, we can approach each experience with equanimity without becoming overwhelmed by it. Think about a time when you were deeply immersed in an activity, whether it was having a conversation, walking through nature, or simply enjoying a meal. In those moments, you were truly alive to the experience. Your thoughts weren't scattered, and you were not distracted by worries or fears. That's what presence feels like. It's being in the moment without the need to rush ahead or look back. The truth is, life is happening right now, and when we are present for it, we allow ourselves to experience its depth and beauty. This kind of living, fully immersed in the present, is the essence of the Buddha's teachings. It's not about finding some grand purpose out there in the world. It's about finding meaning in the here and now, in how we engage with the life we have. The Buddha didn't promise us answers to every question about existence. Instead, he offered us a way to experience life more fully, by letting go of the constant need for control and embracing what is. In doing so, we come to realize that the very act of living is meaningful. It's not about waiting for something to happen, but about living with awareness and gratitude in the present. Mindfulness, or sati, is often misunderstood as merely taking deep breaths or slowing down in moments of stress. But it is much more than that. Mindfulness is remembering to live. It's about paying attention to the small things that make life beautiful, the way the light falls through the trees, the warmth of a hug, the sound of laughter. When we practice mindfulness, we start to notice these small moments of grace and begin to understand that they are what make life meaningful. It's not the big events, the accomplishments, or the goals that define us. It's the way we show up for life in every little moment. There's a powerful story from the Buddhist tradition that illustrates the importance of presence. It involves a young monk who was once sent by his teacher to carry out a task. The monk was eager to finish quickly and return to his teacher's side, but as he walked, he saw an elderly woman struggling to carry a heavy load of wood. Without thinking, he rushed past her, focused only on his mission. But then something stopped him. He realized that in his hurry, he had missed an opportunity to practice compassion. He turned back, helped the woman with her load, and as they walked together, he noticed something profound. The moment he had thought of as an interruption was, in fact, the very thing that would help him grow. In that brief encounter, the monk realized that life's meaning doesn't come from completing tasks or rushing toward the next goal. It comes from being fully present and embracing the opportunities for compassion and awareness that life offers, moment by moment. He could have easily passed by, focused on the task at hand, but by stopping, he allowed himself to experience the moment fully. This is what presence does for us. It helps us connect with the deeper truths of life, allowing us to see what truly matters. Living with presence means showing up for life, not as we wish it to be, but as it is. Whether we're in a moment of joy or facing a challenge, being present means accepting it without resistance. It's about noticing the beauty in ordinary moments, finding meaning in the simple things, and allowing ourselves to feel deeply without trying to fix or change anything. One of the most profound lessons of presence is that it doesn't demand anything from us. It's not a goal to achieve or an outcome to control. It's simply a way of being. When we embrace presence, we let go of the need to constantly strive or search for meaning outside of ourselves. We begin to see that life itself is meaningful just as it is. The moments we experience, even the difficult ones, are not separate from us, but are part of the flow of life that shapes us, teaches us, and helps us grow. In a world that often pushes us to do more, achieve more, and be more, the practice of presence is a quiet rebellion. It reminds us that we don't have to chase after meaning. We don't have to wait for life to give us some final answer. Instead, we can embrace each moment with full awareness, and in doing so, meaning will naturally unfold. Life's meaning is not something we seek. It blooms in the moments we fully experience. When we live with presence, we realize that the answer to life's questions is not something to be found in the future or in some distant goal. It is right here in the richness of the present moment, in the way we experience life as it comes to us. So, when we stop searching for the answers and start fully living, we find that meaning begins to emerge naturally. Life's most profound truth is revealed when we are present with it, when we are willing to be fully engaged in each moment, with all its imperfections, joys, and sorrows. And in this simple yet profound act of presence, we begin to understand that we are already living the answer. As we near the end of this journey together, one thing becomes clear. The point of life is not about finding some perfect, elusive answer or reaching a final destination. It's not about checking off every goal or attaining every piece of knowledge. The true purpose of life is found in how we choose to live it, right here, right now. You see, as the Buddha taught, life isn't a puzzle to be solved. It's a journey to be experienced fully, deeply, and with all of its highs and lows. It's about living with clarity, mindfulness, kindness, and balance. It's about understanding that life itself, with all its imperfections, challenges, and fleeting moments of joy, is the answer. The key is in living each moment with awareness and presence, because that is where meaning is truly found. So, if you've been searching for an answer, searching for that final truth or destination that will somehow make everything fall into place, I invite you to look within. The journey itself is the answer. Life itself, in all its beauty and struggle, is the profound answer we're all seeking. But here's the real question for you: how will you choose to live? Will you live for the future, waiting for something to change, or will you embrace each moment with mindfulness and clarity? Will you let the busyness of life drown out the beauty of living, or will you slow down and become present to the miracle that is your existence right now? I want to know your thoughts. How do you incorporate presence into your own life? Have you been able to find meaning in the moments that seemed so small or insignificant before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep this conversation going. And don't forget, if you found this video helpful, if it sparked something within you, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. We're all in this journey together, and we're building a community here that's focused on growth, mindfulness, and living with purpose. Stay tuned for more insights and teachings to guide you on your journey. The answers you seek are not out there, they are here, in the moments you choose to fully live. Let's walk this path with clarity and presence every single step of the way.